everybody. So this is so exciting. If you guys watched, I previously did my almost best movies of the year list, where I talked about the ones that were really good, I really liked, but just didn't quite make my top 15 list. And so check that out. And now we're talking about my top 15 favorite films of 2018. This was extremely difficult for me to put together. I weighed all of the different options so much. You have no idea how stressed out I am about this list. I just, yeah. And I already did the video also on my worst of the year list. So let's talk about the best of the year. Number 15, I have A Star is Born. I just really loved it. I thought that they had the two things that made this movie just so great for me is that I thought that they had incredible chemistry between Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, and the singing was so good. I loved the singing. And that's one thing that we totally got this year that we don't always get is almost every musical was really good singing. Yay! Which just like made it so good. And I think it sort of takes me out of the movie if the singing isn't good and it's supposed to be a musical. And the singing was so good. I liked all the songs. And yeah, we've seen this story multiple times before, but if you know me, you know that formula films executed well do not bother me at all. And this was executed well, in my opinion. I think that, again, great chemistry. I thought that they did a good job sort of building the relationship, that they have this connection, and then it sort of builds and grows, and you see sort of her getting stronger, him getting weaker. I thought it really worked, and I thought that all this was really buoyed by an incredible supporting cast. I loved Sam Elliott in every scene that he was in. He was incredible. I really liked Dave Chappelle in his small scenes. I thought they were great. I think that her manager was a weak point. Like, he was just a little much for me. That I don't think that a real manager would say the things that he says. He was a little, but I still just really thought it was great. And it's one that stayed with me after I saw it. It's like classic kind of melodramatic storytelling done very well. So I have it at 15, Star is Born. 14, I have Sergeant Stubby, An American Hero. And this was really my little movie that I championed all year. I'm not saying it's a perfect movie, but I really loved it. And I thought that it did so many things right that so many studios wouldn't have done. Like, this was made by Illumination, forget it. But they didn't have the dog talk. They had him be just a regular dog. And I thought that it was so lovely and sweet and it tells this war story, but like tells so many different perspectives of the war story. And like, it wasn't a nationalistic piece. It wasn't a rah, 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 Americans are great piece. It was just about these people and how this dog kind of told their story. And I think that it did a really good job of showing the costs of war to kids without it being traumatic. And, they didn't glamorize it, but they didn't, but they just got it right. They did a really good job. And I really liked the animation. I liked the narration. I liked all the voice acting. I liked the music by Patrick Doyle. I think it was great. And so I have it at 14. Number 13, I have Instant Family. This was a huge surprise to me. I was not expecting, it looked really slapsticky from the trailers, but this movie just had so much heart. It really won me over. I'm very passionate about the sort of the cause of adoption and foster care. I think it's a really beautiful thing, or it certainly can be. And this, they definitely show how hard it can be in this movie, but just the value and the humanity of these people was really lovely. And the ending, I was sobbing. Literally, I was sobbing when I saw this, and I went into my car and just cried because there's just so many people who need to be loved, and I don't know. I just thought it was incredible. And they have this whole montage over the credits of the director and the kids that he adopted and the other people involved in the movie that had adopted. And that was just very moving to me. And I like not every joke lands. There are, but I thought that they did a good job sort of bringing some humor so it didn't feel like it's not like a Nicholas Sparks movie or something where you just feel like heavy. I don't know. I loved it. So I have it at 13. Number 12, I have Incredibles 2, which is maybe shocking that it's this low, but I really did enjoy it. I definitely will watch it again and again. I really liked how it was basically this like treatise about how hard it is to be a parent. And I liked that Bob wasn't an idiot. Like he wasn't a stupid dad. Like he figured everything out by the end, like he figured out new math and he figured out how to help Violet and all this stuff. It just took him time and he was just exhausted, which I think is true to parenting. That's it. And I thought that it was a very fun superhero movie on the other side as well. I really liked the action and how it was animated. Of course, all the voice acting is great. Edna Mode was the best, and I just really thought it was a very satisfying sequel to a wonderful original film. It didn't quite have quite as much to, yeah. Okay, and then in number 11, I have Roma. This movie is stunning. I loved the black and white cinematography. But that can only get you so far in this world. But I think this movie had a huge heart and it really had such humanity for its characters. I think, when Cleo gives birth, that scene was just completely devastating. And I was just like in a puddle on the ground, like crying. It was so like powerful and devastating. And I think every character feels human and real. And I really don't have any flaws with it. It was, it's not a movie I'm going to rewatch a lot, but that doesn't necessarily matter that much. But it was great. So I have it at 11, Roma. Number 10, I have Ralph Breaks the Internet. I really liked this movie a lot. I really thought that the whole commentary on friendship and how friendships evolve and change, and we need to be willing to do that, and we need to be able to love people for who they are, not who we want them to be. And that's what I thought was the message of the movie, which I really appreciated. And here Vanellope thinks of the world differently than Ralph, and that becomes a challenge, and they have to figure out this new dynamic. And I thought the ending was actually really lovely, and other people didn't like it. I really liked it because that's a hard thing to do. We want people to think of the world in the same way that we do, and here they don't, and yet they're able to make it work, their friendship. I really liked that. I thought that all the humor basically worked, because it was all part of the story. It wasn't just like parody to me. I really liked all the visuals. The animation was incredible. I loved the princess scene. I wasn't expecting to because I didn't like it at D23, but it really worked for me. I loved that Ariel was like the shining star, really, of all the princesses. That made me very happy. The song was very unexpected and a delight. Loved that. And even the ending, I just thought it built itself very well. And I loved the racing scenes, and Slaughter Race were incredible. Loved the animation there. I thought Gal Gadot did a great job, and I totally understood Vanellope's perspective, and I totally understood Ralph's perspective, because I've been there with friendships and with things. And I know, I loved it. So I have it at 10. Number 9, I have Anna and the Apocalypse. This movie was just bursting with creativity. Exciting to see a movie like this where it's like a true passion project, and it's truly it's true creativity, and it's a zombie Christmas musical, and I loved it. I loved that mashup. I loved the actors. I thought they all did a really good job. I thought the movie went places that really surprised me. There were a couple of the zombie people zombified that really surprised me. I did not think it was going to go there. I thought that it was funny and sweet, and I liked pretty much all the musical numbers. I enjoyed, especially there's 2 that are particularly great. It's going to be a cult classic, but I liked it now. So early on, I really just thought it was bursting with creativity and effervescent. Like, why you go to the movies is for this kind of experience, in my opinion. So I have it at number 9. Number 8, I have Shoplifters. This is from Hirokazu Kurita, one of my favorite directors. He is incredible. This is basically an Oliver Twist kind of story. It's very Dickensian in its themes about these people that are brought together. They're kind of misfits that shoplift and do kind of various other things. It's about their life. Some people think it's boring, and I understand that. But these two little kids, Shoto and Yuri, were adorable. I loved them. And, it's an interesting thing because it's basically asking the question of, like, the law says these people shouldn't be together. The law says that they're committing crimes, not just the shoplifting, but other things. And yet, like, we know that like they love each other and it's right that they should be together. So it's kind of like they create their own law. And so it's sort of asking some questions about that. And it was just a lovely little movie. I really enjoyed it, and I have it at 8. Number 7, I have Juliet Naked. Really loved this movie. Nick Hornby is an incredible writer, so of course I was going to love it. But I really thought this movie, the script was great, about this woman who realizes that she spent 13 years in this relationship, and maybe she actually did want to have kids when she didn't think she wanted to have kids, and then she ends up meeting the rock musician that her boyfriend is obsessed with. He has all these podcasts and stuff like that about this performer, this singer, and he ended up having like 5 kids that he didn't even want, but he's trying to be a good dad in his own way. And so, like, this interesting juxtaposition. Ethan Hawke was great. Rose Byrne was great. Chris O'Dowd as this obsessed podcaster. Obviously, I mean, it kind of related to his character, but I thought they brought a lot of humanity to a role that he's kind of a jerk in a lot of ways. And there's a moment at the end, towards the end, that really worked for me, where he kind of stands up for obsessed fans. So I was a big fan of that. He does a really good job, and it was just very well written. And it's not like a real rom-com, really, but it was about these 3 people in their life. And so I have it at 7. Number 6, I have Crazy Rich Asians. This movie brought me the most joy, probably, of almost any movie. I just thought it was basically a perfectly executed rom-com, which made me very happy. And it's very like luxury porn, of course, like all the money, and that's part of the fun of it and escapism. And I really liked all the leads. Henry Golding, oh my gosh, I'm in love with him. He was so dreamy. And I thought it was funny. Awkwafina was great. And I think that the Michelle Yeoh's character actually makes sense within the story, because she's had to sacrifice so much for her family, and she sees this upstart independent American who's not going to be ready and willing to sacrifice as much for the family. So her perspective makes sense, and that she's not just some like evil person, preventing this marriage. The wedding is incredible. Weddings I've ever seen on film is incredible. So number 6, Crazy Rich Asians is so good. Number 5, I have Lean on Pete. This is a movie that really stayed with me. Andrew Hayes is just an incredible director. It's like really a portrait of America at this moment, I thought. There's so many parts that were just completely devastating. Charlie Plummer does such a great job. I think he is just a huge talent. Him and Lucas Hedges are definitely my favorite young actors working today. And I think that it was just so moving, and the ending was just devastating, but like in the right kind of way. I was just so moved by it, and it was just a movie. I stayed with these characters for many weeks after I saw it, just kept thinking about it, and I liked all the supporting work by various characters, and it really just felt like I said, a portrait of America today. And it was beautiful. I loved it. So I have it at number 5. Really, this top 5 didn't change much. It was the sort of the bottom 10 that I struggled with more. Number 4, I have Paddington 2. This is just such a sweet and whimsical film. What a great sequel to the original film, which I loved. It was in my top 10 of that year. And this movie is just about a family and how much they love each other and how supportive they are of each other. It has so many great little sequences, like when Paddington is trying to be a barber. That was delightful. I really liked Hugh Grant as the villain. He was hilarious. and this movie is just, it's one of my favorite family films that I've seen, live action. So good. 3, I have Leave No Trace. This movie I saw at Sundance and I loved it, and I still love it. I've seen it 3 times in the theater. It just really moved me. I've seen so many of these off the grid stories that were just so terrible, and this was, especially Glass Castle last year. But this, he's not a hero or an anti-hero, the dad. He's just a person, and we're following on this journey, and him and his daughter, and it's really about her coming to realize that she doesn't have to make those same choices. She can love her father, and she can not judge him for who he is, but she can also make her own choices. And so by the end, when it gets to that moment where she makes the decision to not go with her father, it felt so true to me and so earned by the screenplay and so moving. And I was just so proud of her when she makes that decision. I was like, yes, way to go, you're so brave. Oh my gosh. And Thomas McKenzie, incredible. I think Ben Foster did a great job, and the beautifully filmed. I just absolutely loved this movie, and I thought that it was really hopeful about how many people tried to help them, and how many people were good people along the way. I don't know. I guess I needed that this year, and I just loved it. I thought it was a great movie. I have it at number 3. Number 2, I have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This movie blew me away. I loved pretty much everything about it. I loved the story of Miles Morales. I thought it was a really great character. I liked his relationship with his uncle and also with his dad. I thought the whole scene with his dad outside the door where he's talking, I thought that was so moving and so sort of refreshing, coming from a male perspective, a father, having that kind of moment was really lovely. I thought that the different Spider-Men were incredible, each having their own sort of animated style, it all working together, but also each having their own brand of humor. I loved all of that. I thought it was great. I loved the action was incredible. When he's swinging through the air, the way that you just felt it felt like 3D, which was incredible. I thought that the animation was truly groundbreaking, that the way it just sort of immersed you into the story and did something totally new and different, and I was just blown away. I think it's an amazing movie. And I have it at number 2. All the voice work is great too. So number 1, the movie that made me the happiest, that I loved the most this year is, and I know that people don't like it as much as me. I don't care. I'm strong enough in my own opinions to not care about that. I have Mary Poppins Returns as my favorite movie of 2018. This to me is the first of these Disney live action sort of remake sequels that really to me captures the Disney magic is the kind of film that Walt would have made, whereas I felt like something like Christopher Robin really didn't for me, not much at all, which I thought that this was so joyful, and I thought that I liked all of the musical numbers. I loved the style of it, the feel of it. I loved Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins. I loved the heart of the story, as opposed to the story in the original being about Mr. Banks spending more time with his children and learning to prioritize correctly. In this case, it was about leaning on your family and friends and helping them helping you get through the tough times of life. And I thought they did a great job with that, and I thought that Ben Whishaw did a great job at playing Michael. I really felt for his character, and I just loved all of the songs. And a lot of people didn't. This is just my list and what I liked. I thought the songs were great. I thought that the musical numbers were wonderful. I thought the 2D animation was incredible. I liked all of the singing. I thought was great. I liked the choreography. I thought it had tons of heart. It made me so happy, and I don't know. I just absolutely loved it. I thought it was a phenomenal film, and I have it at number 1 in my list. So here we go. Number 15, A Star is Born. 14, Sergeant Stubby, An American Hero. 13, Instant Family. 12, Incredibles 2. 11, Roma. 10, Ralph Breaks the Internet. 9, Anna and the Apocalypse. 8, Shoplifters. 7, Juliet Naked. 6, Crazy Rich Asians. 5, Lean on Pete. 4, Paddington 2. 3, Leave No Trace. 2, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And number 1, Mary Poppins Returns. There we go. That is my list, my favorite movies of 2018. Let me know what you think of my list, and I hope y'all had a fun time watching movies 2018. It should be a really fun 2019, and I look forward to it. So thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll talk to you later. Bye!